Good morning, everybody. I just want to talk to you today about what do you do with your fear that possibly is about to take you out from having the biggest dream or the biggest goals in your life ever come true. So here's how I deal with fear. First and foremost, I wrestle with it. I take it on myself. I literally say, I'm going to get super determined. And then I typically say something really positive to myself and talk myself into something. And then typically what happens after that is that thing called self-doubt kicks in. And, recently about not even 30 days ago, we actually found out that I was pregnant. And it was an exciting moment. I was praying over the pregnancy stick, and it's been 10 months that I've been trying to get pregnant. And I'm praying over the pregnancy stick, and I'm like, God, if you can make this happen, I know you can turn anything around, because I'm reading scripture, and scripture is telling me to believe, and I'm trying to be like a good student, and I'm just putting all my faith in God, right? So I'm having this moment with the pregnancy stick, and I'm praying over it, and lo and behold, I open my eyes, and I'm pregnant. And so first and foremost, I run in, I wake my husband up in the morning, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, look at this! And I'm super excited. And I message a couple of my girlfriends, and I let them know what's going on. And then, about 3 days later, I check and just double check to see if I'm still pregnant. And of course I was still pregnant. And then another day after that, I thought, you know what, let me just triple check that I'm pregnant. And I wasn't pregnant. And the baby didn't stick. And I went through this process, and I think it's a process that many of us go through with fear. And I went through this process where immediately I went to determination. And determination, it was wrapped in the energy of, I know this is a great sign. My body's conceiving. I feel amazing. And just don't let the fear in, right? Like push the fear out, hold the fear at bay. And I'm sitting there going, okay, and legitimately, at my last event, I call it legitly, which is not even a word. But legitimately, I authentically did not feel fearful. I didn't allow the fear in. But I was in an energy of determination of, that's fine, we'll just try again next month. And then the next thing that comes in is positive thinking. And I start to positive think my way into, well, I know it's possible. Anything's possible. I know it's possible. I see all these moments in my life where things are possible. And then self-doubt creeps in right after that. And I start saying things to myself, and words are powerful, right? Be careful of all the words that you say to yourself throughout the day. Words are super powerful. I have a girlfriend who got pregnant at 42 years old, and she was told she would never be able to have children. And she was she was determined, and then she dropped into faith, and then she just was in complete surrender. But her conversation inside of her head was never in a conversation that there was ever any doubt that she could have a baby. Now, how does this translate into your business, into your regular life? Well, think about something that you're working on right now, that you've been working on for a while, that maybe you're starting to lose faith in. Maybe you're starting to be like, oh, you're in that self-doubt state. Well, just please know that that's part of the process. If you don't give up, you can't fail. If you don't give up, you can't fail. But if you give up, then you can definitely fail, right? And so my question to you is, where are you being rigid that maybe you need to open up a little bit? Where are you being rigid that maybe you need to open up a little bit, right? Like when I decided that I wanted to have my original baby, which I have a little son at home, when I decided that I wanted to have a son, I got very clear that I wanted to find the man of my dreams and fall in love with a really good man. And I made that a priority, and I dated 5 times a week. I took my business and I cut my goals in half, because I was going to reallocate some of my energy towards finding my husband so that I could have a baby. Within 90 days, I found my husband. Within 90 days from that, I was pregnant with Zach. And so I have, by the way, 3 girlfriends, all entrepreneurs, exactly the same story, exact same timelines. I don't know. I have no idea what it says in scripture about that, but I guarantee you there's something with Trinity in that. But there is a level of prioritizing what really is a priority for you to make it happen. For instance, even in the last 10 months of having the second baby, I've been in it, but I haven't been intentional. I've been in the motions, just like being in the motions of building your business, but I haven't really been connected, right? I haven't really been connected and intentional about creating it. Now, where are you possibly doing that in your business, in a relationship goal that you have, in a money goal that you have, in a fitness goal that you have, right? So intentional means, you know, you're not only just tracking things, because to measure things, you need to track it. So write that down. You need to track it. Secondly, you need to actually set a very clear intention, not like, I want to make more money this year. It's like, no, I want to make $20,000 a month, you know, by the summertime, you know. And then what you have to do, here's what scripture says. Again, I'm not religious, but I'm definitely scripture based. And scripture literally says, and for all of you spiritual, God, Christians, Jewish, whatever you are, A Course in Miracles people, make sure that you're really cautious about this, because scripture says that you are to work like you are responsible for creating your result, but you need to pray like it's up to God. In other words, you're not going to sit there and meditate and just wish things into place. I mean, some things might fall into place that way because maybe you're intense and you need to loosen up to let something happen. Maybe you need to stop talking to allow a deal to happen. I had that experience in my life. Or maybe you need to loosen up, right? But don't ever think that you don't work to create what it is that you want. I mean, talk to anybody who has an amazing marriage that has been married for a long period of time, not somebody who's been married for 2 years or 3 years, somebody who's been married for like 15 years, and talk to them about the valleys and the highs, right? And the work that goes into that. Business is the same way. Fitness is the same way. My girlfriend, Natalie Jill, doesn't just look the way she looks because she doesn't eat right or work out, or, you know what I mean? Like she's religious about being committed to her fitness, and that's why she looks the way she looks. So first and foremost, remember the kind of system that you'll go through naturally. Determine positive thinking, and then you're going to go into self-doubt at some point. That doesn't mean that you're not a rock star because you go into self-doubt. You don't have to pretend like you never have a vulnerable moment where you self-doubt yourself. In fact, that is just so touching, and it's so connected for people to know that you actually have those feelings. What I don't want you to do is sit in them for a lifetime. I don't want you to sit in your self-doubt for a lifetime, because your thoughts create your next set of actions. So what do you do when you kind of get yourself in this pattern of you're going after your dreams, but fear keeps coming in to your business, your relationship, your fitness, or whatever it is that you're trying to create? Well, here's what I do. I recognize that I probably have a rule that is preventing this thing that I want from coming through. Okay, so I have a rule that I have to have a latte. Well, did you know that caffeine reduces your ability to get pregnant, which is my goal, by 40%? I used to have a rule that I had to have a glass of wine like once a week. This is all within the 10 months that I've been trying, right? Like it was, and the way that you know it's a rule is it's a habit that you do all the time. That's how you know it's a rule. You might not consciously say, I have to have a glass of wine every week, or maybe you do, right? Whatever your thing is, but you do it consistently. And so it is actually a rule inside your life. That's why you do it consistently. So look at the rules. So alcohol reduces your ability to get pregnant by 50%. Is that not crazy? So I cut out alcohol months ago. I cut out caffeine months ago. Well, I cut out caffeine 2 months ago, but I still went to decaf, which does have an element of caffeine in it, right? And so I talked myself into decaf lattes. So watch and see, what are you doing? What are you responsible for that you're doing? Are you procrastinating? Are you sitting in confusion and not making decisions in your business? What are you doing? What's a rule, a habit that you're doing on a regular basis that is preventing you from manifesting the thing you actually really want to manifest? And know what that is. But then the mind is so important, because the mind will track what it is that it believes. Right? And so this is why in scripture it tells you believe and trust in God, right? So if that's kind of not your jam right now, and you're like, I'm not really into believing in God, Shanda, so please don't push this on me, then I'm going to recommend that you at least grab for believing that it's possible that something you want, this big dream, can actually happen in your life, and collect evidence of people who already have it. Then collect evidence that you're like them. Find ways that you're like them, right? And collect that evidence. It will grow your belief system. Once your belief system grows, which can happen in seconds, it can happen in seconds, then what happens is your mind will track ideas and thoughts that will have you take actions that create an extraordinary result. Look, you really only need one big win today to be able to have yourself reset in the track to success to what you want. So open up, look for the rules, let go of the rules, and then collect evidence. So I go to Ariel Ford's birthday the other night. And I'm at Ariel Ford's birthday, and Ariel and I, if you don't know who she is, you can Google her. She's an amazing, she's written all these books around love. And Ariel says to me, so how you doing, Shanda? And so we're talking, I'm like, I'm actually doing well. I'm still in this baby conversation. And she's like, oh my gosh, there's a woman here I need you to meet. She had a baby in her mid-50s, and she gave birth to this baby. And I went, okay, I want to meet her. I want to talk to her. We end up having this great conversation for probably about 20 minutes. And she's like, I would love to, talk to you. I'll get on the phone with you. I'll help you. I'll share everything that I've done, but she's like, one of the biggest things that we really did is my husband and I really, really got clear in our belief that we could have a baby. Right. And she said, and I said, well, I know nutritionally it's a big deal. She goes, it is for sure. But she said, but I got really sick when we conceived. And that's when you should be really healthy in your food. And she goes, long story short, she said, my doctor I was throwing up everything she had said. My doctor told me to grab anything that I could put down. She goes, the only thing I could put down was Coca-Cola and Cheez-Its. And I have a beautiful baby child today, a little girl. She gave birth in mid-50s. So then here's what's crazy. Open up, because the signs are there. The more faithful you are, the stronger the signs come in, right? So open up, right? There's a woman standing next to me who's listening to our conversation, who says to me after this, Kim, the woman who was in her mid-50s who had a baby, when Kim walked away, this other woman stepped up and she said to me, Shanda, I had a baby and I got pregnant at 42, which is my age. And she said, that's my little girl standing right there taking photographs. And I went, that's amazing. And she goes, yeah, we conceived, we gave birth. I've never had another child. I never had tried before. And the mid-50-year-old that had a baby, Kim, she didn't get married till she was 49, right? And so I'm just trying to say, like, our circumstances, because we've been taught specific things that we think are normal. Like I have a girlfriend who had a baby on her own. I have many girlfriends who have built businesses of single moms, which is really hard. I have a bunch of single moms in this world that I've met that think they can't build a business because they would actually be taking away from being a mom. I have a ton of single moms in my community who are amazing moms, hands-on, and they've built great businesses from ground up to financial freedom, right? And they have more freedom to be able to make their hours and choose their times with their children. So my point is whatever you've been taught or fed, whatever lies you've been fed that your life has to look a certain way, you need to collect evidence that you can be a millionaire at 65 and start a business. I mean, look at Louise Hay, look at Wayne Dyer. I mean, neither of them started their companies until they were in their 60s. But yet, there's 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds right now that are saying to themselves, I'm too old to start a business, or it's over for me. And I just want to say, start collecting evidence. Start collecting evidence that that's not true, right? So I want to share one thing with you. There's this book I've been reading, and it's called Called to Create. And it is a scripture-based book. It's basically a biblical invitation to create, innovate, and risk. It's only for entrepreneurs. I recommend you get it, no matter what religion you are, or what faith you are, or if you're just spiritual, not religious. I actually recommend you get it. And I'm just going to say the book is collected with people like Steve Jobs, Mark Cuban, just some incredible people who have built amazing businesses that people don't understand that these people are operating off scripture because it's not part of their brand to talk about it. But here, this book is a collection of their stories and how they allow spirit, or how they allow God to be able to lead them to make decisions to grow a business. And so here are the 3 questions that were common in all of these uber successful people. And who's to say that you cannot be uber successful at whatever age you are, right? Like, I have friends who've built businesses in 6 years that are $500 million companies. In 6 years. Do you have 6 years left in you? So here's what it says. Here are the 3 common questions that they've all asked themselves when they've created their businesses. I recommend you write this down. What am I passionate about? What gifts has God given me? Or what gifts has Spirit given you? Where do I have the greatest opportunity to love others? That one just really sat with me. Where do I have the greatest opportunity to love others? So I'm going to repeat that. Question number 1 is, what am I passionate about? And here's what it looks like in I'll just hybrid the story about passion. There was this high-level executive that worked for ChickfilA, who, by the way, I hear is a phenomenal company based on this book. And since he was a little kid, he used to do comic pictures, and he used to do comic pictures that he would put the comic pictures together and like go like this with the book, and you can see the story of the comic pictures coming together. And what this guy did is he literally started to do comic pictures at the meetings of the ChickfilA staff meetings. And remind you that he was a high-end executive, right? So he's a high-end executive, and he handled all the marketing. He sent millions of emails, it says in this case study. He sent millions of emails on a weekly basis to inspire people to actually come to Chick-fil-A. But during their staff meetings, he started doing these cartoon figures to create the storylines and document what it is that they talked about in their staff meetings. Well, through doing that for Chick-fil-A, he ended up picking up other jobs where people saw what he was doing, and they started to hire him for these random jobs. Well, Fast quickly went into creating his own animation flip book, which then a few years later, Nike, NBA, Delta, Ernst & Young, Mattress Firm were all became clients of his because he started to be passed around because of his good work. Okay, so now he has a huge company in Atlanta. I can't remember what it's called. He had a huge company, not that it's relevant. Go get this book and figure it out. But it has a huge company now in Atlanta. Now, so that's what is your passion. Second part is, what is the gift God has given me or Spirit's given you, right? Here's what's awesome. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but what it talks about is it gives another story of somebody else that it says a story of like this, like when you're super passionate about something, in this book, it tells a story of there's this woman who loves to sing. It just makes her super happy. And she asked to sing in the church's choir. And they put her up on stage and they turned off her mic because she can't sing. She's a horrible singer. Well, so she was passionately fulfilled because all she was doing was singing to herself and felt super passionate and happy. However, there was no intersection of talent, right? What is the gift that Spirit or God has given you? It's irrelevant about just what you're passionate about. You need to look at what are the gifts that you have already been given and connect that with your passion. And now you have an intersection of something that really serves God. So, you know, the third question is really about where can you love people the most? And we're running out of time here, so I want to end on the 20-minute mark. Go get this book and read it. Called to Create, and read it. It's a very short read, and allow yourself to kind of get deep in the questions of asking yourself what you're up to, because here's what Scripture says. Scripture says that work is actually a way that you honor and serve Spirit and serve God. And so if you ask yourself, you know, oh, I want to create a business that is completely time freedom to the point. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm big on time freedom, but time freedom to the point where I create a business that just allows me to have all this free time, and I just am like a bank machine collecting ATM money out, I'm going to say that you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And fulfillment will not come even when you have all that space. In fact, when you have all that space and freedom because you made a ton of money, believe it or not, that's where people get depressed, get into alcohol, drugs. And, you know, people won the lottery, or the number one people who are the most depressed, lost marriages, all of those things. It's not because of money. It's actually because of the fact that unless you're doing something that's passionate with an intersection of what you're talented in, and you have the courage to take a massive risk and go after it, get good coaching, then you're going to find yourself falling short. So the third question, and it really is a great marketing question, and that is who can use me the most? Where can I share my love the most? You know, in this book, they said something that I thought was brilliant. It said, you know, the monk or the priest or the person that's out there stewarding, you know, in churches or in monasteries or whatever that looks like, they're not any more powerful or connected to God than the man who makes the shoes that we wear. Because the shoes that we wear are serving us. It's where the shoemaker actually gives us his love and can love us. So don't ever downgrade what you're doing. You don't have to go serve at that level to be in the light of your highest calling and purpose, which sometimes I think can be confusing. You really do. Every single one of us were born with something that we're good at. And sometimes it takes a moment for us to trust that and trust that it's good enough. But I promise you, if you get in a good community, you get with a really good business coach, and you stop being a victim around things, and you realize that when it's a priority for you, you will break through. And don't jump around a community to community to community. Find a community of an entrepreneur that is really rocking it. You want their lifestyle, and they're not telling you that it's easy, but they are telling you that you can do it. Then I think you're in a good, a good community to study with. So this is 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda, 9 a.m. Eastern Coffee with Shanda. I do this currently Monday through Friday. And my son is now sleeping in a bedroom very close to my living room. So there is a chance that we might change Coffee with Shanda to a different time of the day. But right now, currently, we are doing 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. We are also have archived our best coffees with Shanda on our YouTube channel. You're always welcome to go onto YouTube and look for Hardcore Business, or type in Shanda Sumpter and you'll find us. In other words, I hope you have a great day. I hope that this Coffee with Shanda made a difference for you. And please tag somebody who needs this. Share this post. I'd really appreciate that, so that I can make the biggest difference and love people the way that I can love them. And you can help me do that. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.